Why elite bodybuilders are keep dying. I do know the reason. It's by Josh Brett. And let me tell you, I kind of know about this whole ordeal anyways, especially considering like my fun fact, most of my family, well, my parents were more bodybuilders. My father especially was a big bodybuilder. In fact, he recently won a bodybuilding competition at his age, like literally uh, a month ago. And my mother was a fitness instructor. Uh, no, a personal trainer. That's what she was. So yeah, knowing about this, we'll just check it out.
And it's like, I'm going to win this show or I'm going to die.
Bodybuilding can be a very ugly world that people aren't aware of, shit that goes on.
To think that he's in this soil right now is making me a little emotional.
There's a rising crisis going on in modern bodybuilding.
I got a list of 50, and there's 50 pros that I know about.
That have died.
What about amateurs?
The glamorized industry has a dark side that some organizations and coaches would rather keep hidden.
Becoming a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. So before I let this video go on, why bodybuilders keep dying? They're so when bodybuilding first came up, especially with Arnold Schwarzenegger winning most of them, he was very physique. It was more about the balance between your muscles, like how you look versus how much you build. Because it isn't how much you build that's the main issue, or that's not the main thing. The main thing is how do you balance yourself out? How do you look? Like we don't need vein popping muscles that look like actual little literal tires in your arms. And I'm not talking about JoJo. I'm talking like you have to weaken yourself. You're dehydrating yourself to lower that water weight so your muscles will pop out more. That's not how it was back then. Back then, you can have all the water you want. You just need to look fit. You need to look balanced. That's a whole thing about it. And now you're weakening yourself and you're killing yourself basically. You're not supposed to be looking like that. And especially with The Rock as well, Dwayne Johnson, he's always fit. He's not supposed to be this big all the time, and yet I don't know what his contract is involved, but his contract, I don't know what it is, or maybe he just wants that look. I don't know. I'm not him. I don't know the whole story behind it, because he's a marketing person. He needs to sell stuff in order to market. He's part of the WWE. He sells. He represents a lot of his alcoholic drinks. I forgot what it's called, but he's growing old and he's still this big. He's not supposed to be this big. Well, he's gonna. I'm surprised he didn't drop dead at his age. So that's my entire thing with bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is good for you. Don't get me wrong. It's good to be active, be healthy and fit. That's my entire thing with being fit and stuff. Like you can still have all that, belly and stuff, but you're still fit. You still have these muscles. You're basically a tank at that point with like all that fat and belly and or fat and muscle. It's honestly, it's a good look. But like just sitting around doing nothing and just eating not right, it's not good. And I've caught myself doing that plenty of times. Not because of anything else, but it's because of stress. So that's my whole thing about that. So I'm gonna drop it there and let the video play.
At the top of the iceberg, the risks of elite bodybuilding are clear.
Steroids will kill you.
But when we go deeper, we see a lot more going on, and the consequences are becoming increasingly fatal.
More bad news from the bodybuilding world, unfortunately. Sean the Dinosaur Davis, Joe Lindner, Sean Roden, Gustavo Bedell, Ilya Golem, Edric McMillan.
Let these people know really what's going on.
This was my introduction to bodybuilding, so how did it turn into this?
So many of those guys have their stomachs sticking out.
What the?
It used to be that you should have a
This is peak masculinity. This is what you're supposed to look like.
V-shaped body. Now, kind of like a bottle.
People do not come to a show to see bellies. And if they want to do that, they go to a maternity ward or something like that.
This look
Oh,
is
come
known
on.
as Columboism, coined after
What
the
the? That looks like a freaking ogre from 40K. What the heck? That just paint him green. He's an ogre. Ogre, excuse me, orc. I mean, ogre, orc, same thing. If we're talking Shrek.
bodybuilder Dave Palumbo is likely due to aggressive PED use, helping bodybuilders get bigger and leaner than ever.
Each generation of bodybuilders are pushing the chemical envelope a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
Arnold often calls out winners with bubble guts, getting them to hit old school poses that accentuate the modern flaws.
Let's see one long double bicep shot. With a great vacuum, show them now how to do that. Watch this, guys. What this? What this? Look at that. Show your vacuum. It's a vacuum pose. Watch this, guys. See, that's what I'm talking about. Look at his vacuum. Look at this.
Fans were quick to suggest that Arnold knew exactly what he was doing here.
You're ripped. You're huge. No stomach, no nothing, no problems.
Perhaps a light-hearted joke, but it's a warning for the more insidious issues going on in bodybuilding.
That whole bodybuilding world is so strange because it literally is impossible to compete without steroids.
It's no secret that they work. This is a natural bodybuilder, holding up a photo of her son, Boston Lloyd. He went on to become an enhanced bodybuilder, achieving this transformation in just a year.
This motherfucker look like he just came out the hyperbolic time chamber.
In 2020, he was diagnosed with stage 5 kidney failure after injecting himself with large doses of a peptide that causes weight loss in monkeys. His desperate mother tried to seek out help from Dr. Phil, but by 29 years old, it was too late.
Boston Lloyd has passed.
The autopsy revealed an aortic dissection, along with a severely thickened heart muscle and liver, likely caused by PEDs as the cause of death. A similar thing happened to Dallas McCarver. A few years after collapsing on stage, he passed away, his heart almost 3 times larger than average. A study found heart attacks to be one of the leading causes of deaths in bodybuilders. You see, PEDs can result in the heart growing larger, often increasing bad cholesterol, which clogs the arteries, meanwhile damaging the liver. Dallas's liver was
Oh my god.
3 times larger than the average person's. Perhaps more disturbing is sludge blood. PEDs can make blood thicker. These clots can block blood flow to vital organs, so some bodybuilders drain their blood.
You could pour it upside down and the blood was solid. That's how thick it was.
Side effects are becoming increasingly...
Wait.
Upside down and the blood was solid. That's how
Solid?
thick it was.
Side effects are becoming increasingly...
What? This is... If you have to kill yourself to bodybuild, then this is... Okay, first of all, who is telling these bodybuilders that they're doing it wrong? Or they have to do this? This isn't about how big you can grow. This is about aesthetic, not how big. How did this happen?
increasingly common as bodybuilders are pushed to take more potent enhancements, which is why experienced pros are concerned.
The internet is a source of information, which information is good, but you got a lot of information.
It's this information that allows bodybuilders to experiment with research chemicals and advanced pharmacology to push to new limits.
What I'm told by people that are just taking it recreationally, they're taking, I'm saying, mate, you're taking more than I took from Mr. Olympia.
Many already have predispositions that these substances exacerbate, substances which can have worrying effects on your brain.
Every day that I'm on high doses, I wake up in the morning afraid of the rest of my day.
This is kinda how I felt as a teenager, when it was -5 outside and I had rugby first lesson at school. Aside from trying to bulk up, I used to use the gym to de-stress. So when I picked up a big injury, with lockdown on top, I was without my coping mechanism. Which is why I'm proud to announce that today's video is sponsored by Headspace. I only started using it in my first year of university, initially viewing mental health as weakness. But I've now been using Headspace for over 4 years, and I couldn't recommend it enough. It has semi or fully guided meditations for any level of expertise, from courses teaching the fundamentals to more specific guidance for those looking to level up. It turns out that many elite athletes use meditation and mindfulness as part of their overall fitness regimen. Training your body and mind really does go hand in hand. It's helped me massively reduce my stress and improve my sleep, which is massively underrated for fitness progress across the board. I like to listen to these before anything stressful, while walking, or just before bed. When I start feeling negative or stressed, listening to a semi-guided meditation is the most practical thing I can do. It really helped me get through a tough time during lockdown. Not to mention, my neighbour's method to cope with lockdown was to blast drum and bass music late at night, so the sleep sounds which come on Headspace really helped to drown this out. They also have a good catalogue of focus music, which I like to listen to while scripting videos like this. It's a good way to stay consistent with an area of health I find much too easy to neglect. If you want to see how Headspace could be helpful to you,
I was gonna
you can
say,
get the
just
first 2
put.
months completely free. All you need to do is use my link in the description.
I was gonna say, just put it in your on your phone, like watch a soothing video on your phone. But then I keep being reminded, wait, ads are a thing. So if if you're sleeping and then there's an ad that wakes you up, I freaking A. Actually, I had an ad play on my phone because I couldn't use my laptop. On my phone, it played a video. It was playing a video. 5 minutes later, ad. And then the ad's done. And then not even a second later, another ad pops up. And it just ticks me off because, oh, I'm finally done with an ad. No, there's another ad. No.
Or scan the QR code on screen. These videos take a lot of time to make, but it's thanks to you for watching, and sponsors like Headspace that allow me to keep creating.
If steroids didn't make me more jacked, I would still take them just because of how it affects me mentally. Testosterone will change 90% of men's lives for the better.
Bodybuilders in today's more honest social media landscape love to talk about how steroids make them feel.
Today, we're gonna be talking about what it feels like to be on trend. When it's fucking time to go, it's fucking time to go.
Mentally, you become the main character.
But there's growing evidence to suggest that not all of these effects are positive.
It's going to make your temper very short.
Intrusive thoughts. I think about violence all the time.
Irritable, angry, anxious, night sweats. Like, I got the most side effects from trend than all these drugs.
Yet, the temptation to use steroids is a running joke in the fitness industry. It's easy to forget that the mental consequences for bodybuilders can be fatal.
I'm going to be brave. I'm going to make the move up into open bodybuilding. Love you all, and keep following, guys.
That was Neil Curry's last YouTube video, before tragically passing away after becoming very isolated and depressed. His parents stating the chemicals had negatively affected his mental health. We can't claim causation here, but steroids alter your hormonal levels and how you think, so elite bodybuilding dosages come with significant psychological risks. This is something bodybuilders only often notice when coming off of PEDs.
And I did the Mass Olympia cure free, guys. I'm sitting there, it's like a mind F, and I'm wondering, like, why the heck am I not crazy? Why am I not feeling way worse than I normally should? I was like, oh my God, I'm not doing steroids. I'm not doing steroids.
But the cognitive effects can go far beyond a more unstable mental state.
Another one is a marked proximate reduction of IQ. I'm on a considerable dose of anabolics, and I can feel it. It's this fog.
But it's not just the heavy required pharmacology that's contributing to the early bodybuilder deaths, but the psychological pressures of the sport.
In the fitness industry, it's the only place that you get rewarded for having a drug problem and an eating disorder. Yeah. If you combine the two, you get a pro card. Clip that.
As a result of this, muscle dysmorphia is rife, with a new popular term being used:
I would definitely say I had bigorexia because never satisfied. Simply never satisfied.
In 1985, the People's Magazine coined the term bigorexia, a psychological condition marked by a negative body image and an obsessive desire to have a muscular physique.
I've met many of the most massive bodybuilders around the world, and I have met a number of them that do not understand how large they are.
Extreme sports attract extreme people.
And I would always feel insecure. Like back then, the way I picked out all of my clothes was what made me look biggest.
But there's a reason you hear about more bodybuilders dying young than cage fighters. It's not bigorexia or the pressure that kills bodybuilders. It's what they do in response to it.
You know how many drug addicts are in bodybuilding? A tremendous amount. Because they're chasing something, but they're not winning something.
As unrelatable as it may be, when your family, your finances, and your reputation are all dependent on you outcompeting hundreds of other bodybuilders, dangerous extremes become inevitable.
So they're trying to build big so they can win championships. So they have to risk it all for that. But still, they don't look great. They don't look aesthetic. They need to look aesthetic.
Before I could comprehend the deeper parts of this iceberg, I needed to understand the psychological side and the pressures that bodybuilders can endure. For many bodybuilders, this alone can lead to their downfall, but it's often the result of an undetected condition.
That's one of the most overlooked silent killers of muscular guys.
Imagine having the following symptoms, yet no doctor can tell you what's going on.
And the first time I got some sort of clarification was when I went to see a psychiatrist with extreme depression and anxiety.
It's believed up to 80% of people who suffer with this are undiagnosed.
I stopped breathing between 30 to 50 times per hour. I was getting around 30 minutes of restful sleep per night. How can any person survive on that?
The root cause, obstructive sleep apnea.
People can die, yeah. You can't get into deep REM because you wake up every 2 minutes. Like choking.
You're basically restricting oxygen and killing yourself slowly every single night.
A serious condition that commonly affects overweight individuals.
Previous coach of mine, Mike Jenkins, he passed away in 2013 because of sleep apnea.
The solution?
My brain mass.
This is a CPAP machine, a necessary device for many bodybuilders to breathe while sleeping.
I was told by my sleep specialist, he said, if I didn't get a CPAP machine when I did, I would have had a stroke by the time I was 30.
There's a reason you don't see many 300-pound 70-year-olds walking around. But while it seems like bodybuilders are most at risk at their peak size, it's often the run-up to competitions that proves the most fatal, with many reaching into the dangerous world of diuretics. This is footage of 26-year-old Antonio Souza. You can see something looks off. Shortly
Yeah, he looks like he's about to, like, collapse on himself.
after, he passed away with diuretics the cause of death.
Some guys and girls use diuretics to lose body water. And
Yep.
you lose
What I mentioned before, body water.
a lot of electrolytes. Electrolytes regulate your heartbeat, so if they get really out of whack.
These have claimed the lives of many other bodybuilders, trying to achieve a dry look on stage.
Back in the 90s, there was a guy called Andy Hornby. Early 20s, he died backstage or something, I think, because of the dehydration.
That's diuretic use.
Yeah.
Diuretics are real danger and it can be deaths left and right.
And they're increasingly being misused.
Because, man, that's that's blood pressure meds, man. Like, what are you doing?
Jody Engel won her pro card in 2020, but was later hospitalized with rhabdomyolysis.
Oh, that does not look great on you.
Acute kidney injury and cellulitis linked to diuretic overuse, and now needs to take a concoction of medications for the rest of her life, stating she would give her pro card back in an instant, just for one day to live in her old body.
Diuretics are very dangerous. They will kill you.
Despite this, the abuse of diuretics and experimental compounds is on the rise, with some placing the blame on the coaches providing them.
I'm telling you, some of, if not the most famous coaches in the entire world couldn't give two shits about your health. And why do I know this? Because I've been sent their plans.
Yeah, he was working with Dallas McCarver. When he started working with Dallas McCarver, I said Dallas has 6 months to live. He died 8 months later.
That was Sean Ray, calling out a prominent bodybuilding coach.
Chad's got blood all over his hands, man. There's at least 5 deaths. Don Youngblood, Nasser El-Sambadi, Dallas McCarver, and a few other people that he's had his relationships with as a bodybuilder.
Oh my god. You don't want to look like this.
Coach that are dead and in the ground, and he hadn't gone to one funeral.
The role of an elite bodybuilding coach is often to help the bodybuilders tread the thin line between life and death leading up to a show. It's a grey area.
Doctors wouldn't even touch a lot of these bodybuilders because there's no evidence on, like, you're not going to advise somebody on taking Trenbolone that's only used in veterinary scenarios. Like, that's...
What? They're using... No wonder they're dropping dead. So these coaches are forcing them to... well, I wouldn't say force, but are trying to get the people they're training into these stuff. And so would the coaches be at fault here?
You'd lose your license, and it's completely unethical.
So coaches often provide illicit substances and dosages without formal
Wait.
training.
There's no evidence on, like, you're not going to advise somebody on taking Trenbolone that's only used in veterinary scenarios. Like, that's... You'd lose your license, and it's completely unethical.
So coaches often provide
Oh.
illicit substances and dosages without formal training or medical licenses.
Oh, that's worse. That's worse. Okay, using stuff that's not even remotely good. I am going to theoretically strangle these coaches in Minecraft. Not really. I'm just making a point of how hateable these coaches are.
It's fine if everything goes right and it works because you're... What happens when it doesn't go right, or your body reacts slightly differently?
Bodybuilders die, with coaches facing criticism, such as the so-called guru of death.
This guy, they're saying he killed 5 people. He's telling me, no, I only killed 2 people. So I was like, what kind of...
Wait, whoa. You killed 5 people. No, I killed 2 people. That doesn't make it better.
What kind of person says that? No, bro, it's 2 people, not 5. You get it right. Like...
But as bodybuilder Luke Sando stated, shortly before passing away, we play with fire in this game. Sometimes things get burned. As stated in medical disclaimers when working with bodybuilding coaches, it's the clients who are ultimately responsible for their health.
He doesn't seem to be an evil guy. I don't get that impression. I get them...
I never once saw him as an evil guy. Yeah. Even when I read that insane diuretic protocol, that I own it. I laughed at it and said, if this doesn't kill me, I'll be shocked.
Perhaps most coaches are mitigating the damage bodybuilders do to themselves. You would like to think so, but it's a dangerous game.
Literally,
that is
damage bodybuilders do to themselves. You would like to think so, but it's a
that looks like you just attached a head to a body. That does not look great.
Dangerous game.
Literally, they really walk that fine line between life and death, and they know they're pushing the envelope. And they do.
I'm not expecting, since it's a female body, I'm not expecting, the whole thirst thing. I'm expecting a good aesthetic body. Especially when you see in animes, you know animes with the ripped women, the aesthetically pleasing ripped women that a lot of people like to thirst over. Yeah, those I want to see in bodybuilding, and anything in anime really that look aesthetically pleasing. Like, this goes for both guys and girls. Like, can we go back to this and not have coaches be this bad? Especially the one coach saying, oh, I didn't kill 5 people, I killed 2 people. And again, how does that make it any better? You have blood on your hands. You're at fault for getting these people onto these drugs without telling them. Or I'm not sure if they were telling them or not. I might have missed that.
Do it anyway because of the accolades, the possible potential accolades, and the money and the new clients that they might garner from this notoriety. And you guys know exactly who you are.
But many are concerned with the false security that seemingly knowledgeable coaches provide.
I can see why somebody might just blindly follow a plan because that's what's been encouraged in this industry, unfortunately.
And with PEDs and all that stuff, like, you have to be very, very careful because people have died.
So why, despite all of these recent deaths, do bodybuilders continue to use experimental compounds, often mixed in with recreational drugs and risky medications? Some coaches argue that a lot of these poor decisions are the result of a psychological phenomenon known as summit fever.
And what happens in mountain climbing, when you get to within a mile of the summit of the mountain, you get what's called summit fever. And what that does is it makes you set aside every safety.
Oh, hey, Mia. How's it going? Hello there, fellow dragon.
Rule. Everything that could keep you healthy, everything that you know might kill you, because all you see is that summit, that goal. And it happens mountain climb. And it's a huge phenomenon. The top mile of any huge mountain is littered with corpses. And now so is bodybuilding for the same reason.
Elite bodybuilders are often at their unhealthiest point when they step up on stage.
People that don't know, when you see a bodybuilder on stage and they're fully shredded and ripped and flexing, they are so dehydrated. They're like ready to black out.
But this is a time to push things to the limit.
Are you truly doing whatever it takes to reach your goals?
The opportunity to make all of their hard work and sacrifice worth something. Meanwhile, the trainers are looking to make a name for themselves.
Oh, you are? Oh! So I get to know you guys through clips while you know nothing about me. Fair enough, fair enough. Well, thank you. Well, thank you for editing. I actually enjoyed the clips.
They have summit fever sometimes as bad as the competitors do.
A mixture of all of these factors has people very concerned about the future of bodybuilding.
The sad state of bodybuilding, unpopular opinion. Someone is literally going to have to die on stage before something changes in bodybuilding.
Trainers aren't going to change. People want to see these monsters. And so they will continue to produce monsters.
I don't want to see these monsters.
The stakes are going to get higher, and therefore the usage is going to get higher.
I want to see aesthetic bodies, not boulders.
To appeal, bodybuilding has a dark side that federations, coaches and brands often prefer to hide. Many fans believe more should be done to protect competitors' health, perhaps by drawing inspiration from the sport's early days.
Because look at the old days when Steve Reeves won. When Steve Reeves won,
and you saw him on the beach, you say to yourself, I would love to have this guy's body. But that's not what you can say about those guys the day they win those competitions.
This is why Arnold wants the classic physique to be as big as the open. And the natural bodybuilding community is growing, with bodybuilders warning of the risks.
Go get yourself checked out, get everything checked, because I didn't realize what was going on inside me till they actually went in and looked.
All these motherfuckers got health problems. All of them, bro.
Why do you think I haven't competed in several years now?
Me personally, my advice to you, unless you're competing, don't take any steroids.
This is why raising awareness of the darker side is crucial, especially for younger people, who are often only shown the glamorous aspects. Bodybuilding got me interested in fitness, but its darker side is what got me interested in health. For many bodybuilders, it's a passion worth dying for, and many more will die incredibly young. As people remark, at least they died doing what they loved. But perhaps the best way to honor late bodybuilders is to avoid making the same mistakes.
For sure, who I am is not a bodybuilder. There's more to me than that. I'll be happy without it.
And this sport is not worth dying for.
No, there's much more to life than working out. We're talking about business, success, education, you know, bettering yourself in every way. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I've talked to a lot of bodybuilders and I've explained that if we were able to take what we learned from bodybuilding and all the effort and energy we put into, say, preparing for a contest, and we could take that and put that into something else, it would be amazing, the results.
Oh, thank you, Josh Brett. Actually, I'm gonna subscribe to you because that was pretty good. And an awfully good way to show that yeah, you can still be healthy, and people are saying, don't take steroids. Yeah, don't take steroids. They're bad for you. You do not want steroids. Instead, you want to work out, be healthy and fit as best as you can. And plus, working out actually boosts your brain power, from what I've heard. Probably the reason why Arnold Schwarzenegger was really smart back then, because he was building muscles and stuff, and it's just really good. He was a good businessman. All right. Let's see. Fitness industry is the only place that got rewarded for drug problem and sort. Find the two, you get a pro card. Ugh. For every pro that died in dozens, people had no one heard of that. Checked out the abusing gear. One about very high T affecting IQ shocked me. Never guessed it. Really inform. Yeah, I didn't know either. All right. Let's go to another video that's a little bit more lighthearted.